The Notorious Surfer Cop. January 2nd, 2026 marked 28 years since I retired from the Chicago Police Department. After 30 years on the job. When that date rolled around, one memory kept coming back. Not the shooting, not a big arrest, not a promotion. Nope. That thing that kept popping into my head was the true story of the Chicago Police Department's Notorious Surfer Cop. Why was that? Well, that was because that surfer cop was me. In June 1977, Claude, my partner and best pal since we were in grade school, and I were detailed to a festival in the River North neighborhood of Chicago. Toward the end of the evening, things really slowed down. One vendor had a fiberglass mock-up of a curling wave with a surfboard stuck into it. He was taking pictures of people on the surfboard. Nobody was left for him to photograph, and he called us over. He said, I want pictures of you officers on the board. I'll give you free copies. I just want the pictures. We each took a photo. He gave us the pictures. I was like this on the surfboard. I took it home, stuffed it in a drawer. A few months later, in September of 97, this was the end of the 18th District Summer Beach Detail. I already knew I was retiring in January, so this would be my last month patrolling the beach. We were planning an end of summer beach party just for cops and friends of the police. And I had one goal. This last party was going to be the best beach party we ever have thrown. This was nothing new. We've been throwing unofficial beach parties for years. I started getting involved in these things way back when I worked at Calumet Park Beach on Chicago's southeast side. Cal Park was great. It was literally behind my house. It was perfect. But North Avenue Beach, that was the big leagues, baby. Right near the Gold Coast, at the foot of Magnificent Mile, next to Lincoln Park Zoo. And the beach house had this big enclosed courtyard that was perfect for private parties. We called them sunrise parties because they started when the park closed at 11 p.m. and we cleared everybody out. And they ended when the sun came up over Lake Michigan. We did it right. A local restaurant called Stanley's at the time sponsored the food. Sam Adams donated 2 kegs of beer. We hauled in those half-barrel barbecue grills, those big-ass barbecue grills. Stanley's cook made chicken, burgers, and salads. We tipped them well. Several officers were great musicians, so we had a live band. And I was the DJ. I learned that music at police parties can become a serious issue. It was not uncommon for some cop to walk up and shove a CD in my face and say, turn that shit off and play this. Well, I solved that problem by putting the entire night's music on a high-8 video cassette from back in the day that was great audio. I plugged my VCR into the PA system. Sorry, officer, no CD player. It's all piped-in music for the night. Enter the circus. At the time, the Circus du Soleil was in town. Some of our officers were working security for them on the side, And the performers wanted a party with the police. So we invited them. They were coming with a fire eater and a juggler, along with several very fit and attractive female circus performers. Now, this was shaping up to be quite a party. The poster. The 18th District had tons of great restaurants that were very police-friendly. They gave us discounts in return for our presence, which discouraged pickpockets and panhandlers. There was a symbiotic relationship, and that was good because otherwise we couldn't afford to eat there. So I thought, let's invite the restaurant workers to the party as a thank you for all they have done for us all year. And that's when I came up with the idea. I dug that picture out of the drawer, and I made a poster with me like this, pushing over a surfer who was next to me into a wipeout and saying in a Chicago accent, back off, dude, the beach is closed. We hung those posters in the kitchens of restaurants and the employee rooms of coffee houses, in the back rooms, break rooms where the people were. Restaurant workers got in free. The cops paid $5 a head. The party, 200 people showed up. The band played, the DJ spun, the fire eater performed, the circus girls looked gorgeous, people danced, and they ate like the Russians were on the front lawn. Some even stumbled onto the beach and went into the surf. It went on till sunrise, other than a few noise complaints to the watch commander's office from affluent Gold Coast high-rise residents living across the street, across Lakeshore Drive. It was the best sunrise party ever. I soon found myself alone. The barbecue bins and the beer kegs were all gone, but the place was a mess. I worked 2 hours to get everything back in order, clean everything up. I cleaned the restrooms, swept the deck, and finally hosed it all down. I finished just before the beach manager and lifeguards arrived around 9 a.m. I went home and slept off a hangover. 12 hours. Shortly after the following Thanksgiving, I took some leave time and I left Chicago for good. I moved to Buena Vista, Colorado. I was done being a Chicago cop. Retirement was weeks away. Now, you may think that's the happy ending, but it's not. One day in late December, the telephone rang. One of the guys from the beach detail called me. You're not going to believe this. That poster you made ended up in the hands of a Chicago talk radio host, a guy named Jerry Agar. And he's blowing this shit up. Apparently, one of those restaurant workers didn't appreciate our invitation and gave the poster to the talk show host. Agar, a popular talk radio host on WLSM AM in Chicago, made the Surfer Cop a weekly topic on his show. Internal Affairs became involved, and Agar demanded they identify the notorious Surfer Cop, me. Agar, normally supportive of the police, reportedly said things like, a disgrace to the uniform, conduct unbecoming. Are they hiding the identity of the Surfer Cop? Apparently, he viewed the poster as some sort of promotion for nightlife activity. I mean, it wasn't a commercial promotion. I guess it was sort of accurate, but the actual intention was to show gratitude for those who supported the police. Internal Affairs started calling in officers for interrogations about the notorious Surfer Cop. It got hot, but nobody talked. I had to come clean, but I had to wait a while to protect myself from Internal Affairs possibly grabbing my last paycheck. And finally, on January 18th, I called Internal Affairs. I asked for the investigator handling the Surfer Cop case. He picked up. Sergeant Smith. I said, Sarge, are you looking for the Surfer Cop? Oh, yes, I am. Well, I'm the guy on the surfboard, and I made the poster. He asked my name, my star number, and my employee number. I told him. And then he said, Lou, thank you so much. You have no idea what we've been dealing with. The superintendent's office calls me every week about this. Then he asked me when I could come in and make a statement. I said, anytime you want, as long as the city pays my airfare and hotel, I'm willing to come in. Long pause. Well, why is that? Well, Sarge, I live in Colorado now. I retired 2 weeks ago. My last paycheck from the police department cleared the bank this morning. Another pause. He laughed and said, Lou, have a wonderful retirement, case closed, and that's the story of Chicago's notorious Surfer Cop. I hope you enjoyed that story about the Surfer Cop. I got a ton of stories, but I don't want you just having to listen to me. I want some other old school cops to give me some stories of their own. So if you know an old school cop, or if you are an old school cop and you got a few stories, send an email to me, Lou, at oldschoolcops.com. That's Lou at oldschoolcops.com. And we'll set up a date to let you tell your story. Now listen, we could put sunglasses on you and a big hat. You don't have to use your name. I just want to make sure you're the police, and we'll let you tell your story. You can be totally anonymous, or we can talk about you personally. If you're involved in writing books or in some other endeavor you want to talk about, you can do that too. Thank you. See you again.
Old school.